gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you and me, every son of liberty. Hurry right away, no delay, go today.
The following is a video made by the John Green History Association. For most of us, the Civil War is an event we meet briefly in our history books, a distant and sometimes dry parade of proclamations, politicians, generals, and battles. But for the soldiers who marched off and fought, the Civil War was all too real and consuming. In the pages that follow, you'll meet and hear of a very special brand of Confederate Union soldiers, boys 16 years old and younger. Hello, my name is Jebediah Longtree. I joined the war because I want to leave the boring routine at home. I thought that it would be exciting fighting and putting the South where they should be, but the war was actually just marching and standing and nothing really worthwhile. When I got the ballot to be able to join, I saw my friends joining, ages 16, 14, some even 13. I got caught up in all the excitements, and I didn't want to be left behind from my friends. Joining the Civil War at such a young age either was the worst decision of my life or the best thing I could have done at that time to help discipline my rowdy mind. The war changed me in many ways. I went from a very naughty and bad child to a well-disciplined, upstanding young man. Due to the fear and confusion at the start of the war, I came out of the war with a clear head on what I believe on policies, what I believe in my political affiliation, and I also realized how far I will go to see that things I believe in are sawn fit from powers. When I came back, I was also more grateful for the boring life that I had had before. I became entitled to such a life where I was grateful, or I was blessed with a life where I was able to do nothing. But when I came back, I was overcome with joy. 3 major negative takeaways I had from the war were I had some post-traumatic stress disorder from the whole thing. I had seen many men die. One of my friends from our town, we marched with 32 others, and by the end of the war, only 3 had survived. I got used to see other people dying. As one of my acquaintances, Henry Graves, wrote, "I saw a body of a man killed previous today this morning, and a horrible sight it was. Such sights do not affect me as they once did." Another negative takeaway from the war was that I came back to a completely different town, life, and world. My family had changed very much from it, and the assassination of President Lincoln as well shook the country and my family as well. 3 positive takeaways from the war was that I had newfound connections with my fellow soldiers that I could not have gotten in any other environment. I made friends and developed my personality in ways that I saw fit, and I was able to help my army throughout the war. I had much more courage and valor at home, in which I wasn't that as much afraid to speak up my mind and stand up to those who I deem obnoxious, as well as with congruence to how my mother should see fit. I had a new religious sphere found among my fellow boy soldiers and my fellow man soldiers. How the war was different from what I previously thought it would be, I thought that the war would be quick, but there was endless amount of marchings and only a few rough and scary battles. Once I realized that the war would be long, after the firing of Fort Sumter, I began to miss my home and my family. Battles were much scarier than I thought before. Both boys and men on each side thought that the war would be a lot less boring than they thought. But in reality, the war was either super scary and way out of my league on what to do, or it was boring marching around in uncomfortable conditions. Once I realized that the war would be longer than I thought, I began to become terribly homesick. And I realized that the war would not be as fun as I had predicted earlier, but would be a massive hellhole in which nothing productive seemingly would happen. So, I illegally conscripted into a war underage. I have traumatized myself and have quite the tale to tell. So, yeah, in conclusion, that was a horrible mistake. Don't sign up for army before you're like 18. Alright? That's lit. See ya.